Hey, how are you going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am, I want to say I'm okay. I
Uh-huh.
didn't actually have a very nice sleep last night. The place where I live, there are a
Uh,
lot of pigeons
hmm,
which flock near my balcony.
hmm,
And early morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, they
hmm,
start making noises. Basically,
hmm,
they're up. I mean, it's not their fault, and I
hmm,
get it. But they're up even on weekends.
hmm,
And it's a little bit of a pain for me sometimes. So I was just reading up about pigeons and their sleeping habits, and I went to weird places on the internet. And
hmm.
one of this site which I visited, right, was talking about pigeon laws in Venice.
Oh,
So it turns out it's illegal to feed a pigeon in Venice. And then the train of thought went to like, are there similar, seemingly weird laws or seemingly irrational laws in other countries as well? And I've reached, I think I've reached oil. So it's a good thing that we're having this discussion on such a short notice, because I really wanted to know your insights into some of these laws that I've read.
I mean, the law that you just mentioned, it's, at the first glance, it appears to be so ridiculous, right? But I think if we actually consider what laws are actually about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you ask me, essentially humans are pretty capricious, right? Because they are not
Mm.
predictable.
Yep.
And the reason for that is, every being will behave in a different way in different situations. And that is because of the conditioning, the experiences, the assumptions that every human being carries, with him or her.
Mm.
Now,
Mm.
the rulers of any country would want the people of the country to be predictable. Okay.
Yep.
And that is why you have laws. The laws are intended so that the behavior of people will become predictable. Now, of course, some of these
Mm.
rulers will be more draconian, some will be less draconian, some will be liberal. Okay. And
Mm.
if the laws are made based on assumptions or experiences which are shared by the entire population, the population will accept those laws as valid. Otherwise, the population probably would somewhere, start resisting those laws. So probably,
Mm.
from what I have read, uh, what could be happening is that in Venice, it's on the list of the tourists. One of the things to be done there is feed the pigeons, right? And then everyone starts feeding pigeons, and the number of tourists exponentially increases, and the pigeon population increases to such an extent that they become a pest. And so now the
Mm.
experience of the Venetians is that we need to cut down on the pigeons. And so how do you cut down on the pigeons? By cutting down on the people who feed them. So yeah, these laws which appear to be so absurd at when we first look at it, probably there in many of these laws there could be some reason, some valid reason why they are in place.
Yeah. I agree. Well, I just say thank God that Simran and her father from Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge weren't in Venice. Uh, a similar law,
Hmm.
talking about practical things in Germany, in Singapore, not in Germany. It's illegal to chew gum, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and at
I,
first it
I,
may
I
appear
had I
that
had read about this 20 years back. Because when this law was enacted, there was a big deal, right? And I know what you're talking
okay,
about. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Uh,
So essentially, so you know that at the time there were like miscreants who were blocking the train doors by
yeah,
by putting the chewing gum there. And obviously, it's an automated system. If one
yeah,
door doesn't close, the entire system goes for a toss. So that's the reason why they got this law in which prima facie appears to be a little irrational and
yeah,
weird, but
yeah.
it's really not.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. So this again falls in that same category, where the common experience of the people is aligned
Hmm.
to the law. So people will probably accept that law wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Another interesting law that I read was of the autobahns,
Mm.
where in Germany on the highways,
Yeah.
if you run out of gas, you're liable
Mm.
for a ticket.
Right. Makes
So
total sense to me because on German autobahns there is no speed limit except for a few places. So where accident-prone zones have I think a speed limit of 130 kilometers per hour, right? And
mm,
areas which are not accident-prone there is no speed limit. Now imagine such a fast-moving traffic, and if one car stands in comes to a standstill because there's no
yeah,
petrol. I think we are asking for disaster in that environment, right? So I think it's a case of super caution being exercised. Again, makes a
I
lot of
agree.
sense to me. Although on the face the law appears to be absurd.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you know, these are laws from a human's perspective. You know, the human society's perspective.
Yeah.
There are certain laws which are seemingly absurd for
Mm.
the animal kingdom,
Uh-huh.
but not so absurd at the end of the day. So
Right.
in Switzerland, it's not legal to have only one goldfish.
Uh-huh.
You need to have at least two fish
Okay. In that glass bowl in which they keep the fish,
in
I'm
the glass
assuming.
bowl that you'd essentially, yeah, the
Right.
quintessential glass bowl.
Right. 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 I see only one possibility over here. What the possibility that I see here is that this is a result of animal right groups, which have fought for this, because saying that
Yeah.
that one gold, it's torturous for the goldfish to be alone, so give it a partner so that both of them can live together happily forever in that small place which they'll call their home. I think this is an absurd because in the earlier three laws that we discussed, I could see the sense in it. This I find
Mm.
a bit hypocritical, because if you're truly concerned about the right of the goldfish, right? I think the law should be, you should not be allowed to keep the goldfish in the pot at home. The goldfish should remain where it ought to be, which is in the pond
Yeah.
or in the river, right? So I think this law is, to my mind, it's the first real absurd law that we have discussed.
Yeah. Also, the fact that if you keep a husband and the wife fish together in a confined space for a long period of time,
I think this is
not sure how great
it's
it is.
criminal. It's torture, for those goldfish. I absolutely agree with you on what you're saying. Yeah, right. Another law that comes to my mind is there are two laws in Britain which are very
Mm-hmm.
based on a similar assumption. The
Mm-hmm.
assumption is that the royal family is it gets its authority from God, right? And this is the historical perspective that I'm giving you. And
Mm-hmm.
the family needs to be respected. So in England, there's a law that you cannot, if you are attaching a postal stamp on an envelope, and if you do it upside down, right,
Mm-hmm.
that is illegal. And the reason for that is, on the postal stamp you will have the photo of the king or the queen, right? So
Okay.
by posting it upside down, what you're doing is you're disrespecting the king or the queen. Another similar law, which to us today appears to be even more absurd, is that
Mm-hmm.
when no commoner dog or any pet should mate
Oh yeah,
with
I know
any
this law.
royal pet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this also comes from the same set of assumptions that and anything that is related to the royalty is to be treated with respect. Yeah. And so, had you heard about these laws essentially?
I hadn't heard of the postal stamp one,
Uh-huh.
but I'd heard of this dog,
Yeah.
dog mating law.
Yeah.
And the first thing that actually came to my mind when I read it for the first time was, you have those movies in the 60s and the 70s where, there was a Amir Baap ki ladki
Yes.
and Garib Ghar ka ladka, and then they couldn't be in a relationship, and then din dhal jaye hai, stuff like that.
The context is very
I
important,
agree.
because no, I'll
Mm.
tell you a very interesting story. We started with pigeons. We could end with a cat. Setting the cat among the pigeons. So there's the story
Okay.
of a Zen monastery where the master of that monastery owned a cat, and at the time of meditation, this cat would go and disturb all the monks. And so the monks went and complained to the master, saying that your cat disturbs us when we meditate. So the master made a rule,
Mm-hmm.
a law, because what he said was the
Mm-hmm.
law in that monastery, that this cat should be tied to the pole at the time of meditation. A very practical law. And this law was then followed. It
Mm-hmm.
was followed for a long time. The master was old, he died. Okay, a new person, a new master was appointed as the head of that monastery. He said, this cat belongs to our old master, so that we will continue the practice of tying the cat to the pole. And then the cat died. And after the
Mm-hmm.
cat died, what happened was they bought a new cat, because it was a law in that monastery that you have to tie a cat to the pole at the time of meditation, right? I think the essential error that they made is they thought that you have to tie a cat. No, it's not about tying a cat. You have to tie the cat. That cat had to be tied,
Mm.
and it's not that you had to tie a cat at the time of every meditation. Right? So I think what happens probably in case of these old monasteries, what happened in the case of the monastery is also happening in case of royalty, right? So the
Mm.
old
Yeah.
laws, which now don't really seem to have any significance, they continue to be, followed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many, so many different facets of life, just from simple laws in different countries.
Yes, yes.
It's a great discussion. I think we could explore this even further. There are so many other laws which I would love to go through with.
Absolutely. Even
so we should do that someday.
Even Indian laws really worth looking at some of the. We could actually have an episode on that.
I agree. Totally agree. Wonderful. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Had a great conversation.
Great.
Yep. Speak to you soon. Bye.